We're in St. Vitus in Greenpoint. It's a metal bar at the very end of Manhattan Ave. Opened in 2011. It's my first time here. I'm super excited to check it out. I'm making some new friends already. Here's one of my guys right here. The interesting story about St. Vitus, when it first came on my radar, was after the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony in, I think it was 2014. It was at Barclays. I went with some friends. That was the one where Nirvana got inducted, and they performed with 4 different female vocalists. It was Joan Jett, Kim Gordon from Sonic Youth, St. Vincent, and Lord. That was amazing in itself. After the ceremony, they packed up and came over to St. Vitus in Greenpoint here and did a secret show. No one knew what was going to happen. And they played for like 2 hours. Like, I think it was like 18 songs. I think each woman did like 4 songs. Legendary. And it's one of those things, like, we weren't doing anything afterwards. We could have easily gone. It was, you needed one tip off to figure it out, but we didn't know. And so I'm not even sure who I'm seeing tonight, but I know it's heavy. It's gonna be 2 heavy bands. I learned to play guitar in the late 80s. I came alive during the heavy metal and hard rock on the Hot 100 phase of music, which is a dark time in many senses, but it was also kind of awesome it existed. And awesome that it happened. That's back when everybody was shredding on the guitars. I kind of took a different path after the grunge scene, back in more of my classical days, and then I eventually went to college to major in classical music, and then I came back around to good old rock and roll, I think in the early aughts. But heavy metal never stopped, hard music never stopped. It's been going strong for, you know, those 20 plus years where I was absent. Actually, believe it or not, Guitar World last year had a best guitar players of the decade roundup, and I was reading it, and you know, half the players I know, half of them I'm like, who the hell is this? And what was funny, they got to number 1, and it was unironically Mark Tremonti from Creed / Alter Bridge / whatever else his projects are. So there's still a lot of love for that kind of music, not in my world, but in the world in general. You better believe it. Anyways, I'm gonna hang out here with, where is he? With this guy for a little bit. The amount of turnover there is for businesses in general, and definitely for live music venues, it's actually pretty comforting to know like a music venue like this has survived for the past 10 years, especially in no man's land out here at the end of Manhattan Ave in Greenpoint. I think probably when they opened, I mean, Greenpoint's over the line gentrified now, super expensive apartments, fancy buildings everywhere. But when this place opened, there wasn't the fancy grocery store across the street. There wasn't these fancy luxury $3,000, $4,000 a month apartments around here. It was just the chutzpah of saying, yeah, let's open up a metal bar out here in distant Greenpoint. It's a hike from the subway. I drove here, but yeah, it's the closest subway stop is not that close. So glad to see this place has survived and thrived.